Joined us. Thank you for joining our webinar today. We've got a new topic here that we think is very worthwhile. So Paul and I are going to walk through it. My name's Dennis Smeltzer. I'm president of TSANet, and as I mentioned before, Paul and I are going to tag team each other, so he'll introduce himself here in just a minute as he takes up one of the other sections. But the topic obviously today is the 3 tips for improving TSANet usage. You know, I mean, historically TSANet has never been a high volume thing. It doesn't mean it can't be a very important thing. We think it is, and I think a lot of our members also think that it is. But one of the issues that we run into consistently is that because it's not used necessarily every day or multiple times a day, it can have a tendency to get kind of pushed aside and not re-energized. So what we wanted to do is look at some of the success things that our members have done and kind of target in on and key in on those kind of things. And so we've come up with 3 areas: onboarding and adoption, and then integration into case management, and then partner management. So these are things that we see successful from our membership perspective, some of the things that we as TSANet staff has targeted in on, and we've done some things that we think will help you and some ongoing things. So we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit. We got just a few slides that we're going to walk through, and the first one I'm going to cover is this onboarding and adoption phase, right? So obviously very important to get you going, and this can be also very dependent upon the size and the scope of the organization and what you're doing in the multi-vendor support area. But we've seen some things that that are kind of consistent amongst all of our members, and so we wanted to walk through that and talk about a little bit about the roles and responsibilities of the people, and then how do you make this work, right? How do the callers get access into it? And then this thing that I alluded to earlier that we think is very important is this ongoing training, and I'm going to focus in on what we can do now. Paul's going to talk about a little bit more of the ongoing aspect of it. Okay, but again, when you look at the roles and responsibilities, this is the way what we see. We show that this kind of parses down into 3 different areas. We've got our business manager, which is the key person that we go to from a strategic perspective. And as you all are familiar, TSANet is a not-for-profit. The business manager is also somebody that we go to for voting responsibilities and things like that. But they really manage the high level of the relationship. They're in charge of making sure that the membership maintains itself, the overall structure within the organization, and then they may delegate that down to what we call the program and the key users. But they're really also looking at some of the things that we do from a strategic perspective, like case exchange, like solution support, some of the other things that we're working on, the custom group area that we'll talk about that as well. They're the one kind of orchestrating that, and is this something that we should be doing with our membership to take advantage of TSANet. And we've got the program managers, which typically can fall into a couple of different areas, and this really gets into the size of the organization, but we kind of see a lot of program managers are the ones that are responsible for their partners. And so we may have a couple of key people that might be in charge of a custom group, for example, and we'll talk about that. But they're people that we want to know, we want to designate them within the database, and as far as that inbound process is concerned, they may be the ones that are responsible for making sure that that's always up to date for the group that they're in, or if the group that they're responsible, in some companies this could go into a product group. So they might be the ones that have differentiated this from an overall company perspective, or they actually separate it out into different departments and things like that. Program managers are going to be the ones that we designate as they would go in, make sure that they've got the right people involved in it on the outbound side, and also making sure that that contact document is up to date on the inbound side. And then we've got what we call key users, and those could be typically escalation people, or people that another way to put it would be, these would be the people that the engineers would typically go to. Hey, I got a problem that involves this other vendor. How should I handle that? Those would be the people that would train other engineers on, this is how you use TSANet, this is how you can get a hold of them, this is how we collaborate. They might look for escalation issues and better ways that they can handle that. Maybe they need to change their process inbound. Maybe they need to look at this company as looking for something different than this company, so I could create another contact document if I wanted to do that. And they provide then, again, that path back into the business manager. Hey, this is the way we're using it, or could we use it this way, or do things like that. So these are kind of the key areas that we look at for identifying within the onboarding and adoption phase. Within the database itself, just be aware that it's a little bit different hierarchy, and that we identify what we call a business manager and then a program manager. Those two roles have got administration capabilities, and then we have callers. And those people they don't see the administration piece of it, so we see those as kind of the users of the system. As far as getting access into the database, this is really where the rubber meets the road, right? I mean, this is where the engineers are the ones that are going in and initiating a collaboration with another company. So there's really two different ways that engineers can get into this. We have been working on this area, and we want to continue to improve this. But you can basically now go in and self-register. So if you go in to log in to TSANet, you will see Request Account button. And what that does, that can be customized by the administration folks, the business and the program manager folks. But basically, the default is it goes in, it's going to send an email out to a key person. They have to have the right domain, and then that person just clicks a button and they're automatically approved into the system. You notice the links down here, and Stephanie's going to send out these slides to everybody that registered for this call. We've got a really good little YouTube video, it's not very long, that explains that entire thing, so you can look at that. The other way for people to get into the system is the administrators have got this capability of clicking on the admin button, and then if you go down into company, you will see users, and you can actually go in and create people and give them their own individual credentials. You can really get detailed with this and set up what relationships they're part of, all that kind of stuff. But that's another way for you to do that. And again, we've got the YouTube video for that as well. This is something I can't emphasize enough. Let us help you in this training aspect. So there's really 3 different types of training that we've identified, and we certainly will help you, whether it be actually setting this up with co-branded stuff or actually doing the training with you, that kind of thing. But we've identified a manager training where we can do, we've got a set of slides that you can use. You can also customize those to yourself. We've got webinar recordings. Again, that's what these links are. The caller training, you may decide that you want to do that yourself, but we will also help you with that, or we can do that with you. And then the co-branded stuff. We always try to do this to make it as much your presentation on TSANet as it is the TSANet presentation. And we've also done some videos. We've got to the point where we've actually customized some videos for companies, and you can see all this stuff. We've got a ton of stuff on the website that will help you with this training. But I think this is one of the keys to making TSANet successful as far as that adoption phase of TSANet, and that's this training aspect of it. So please take advantage of that. Let us know at the end of this presentation. We've got both my and Paul's contact information, so you can get a hold of us. Okay, Paul, it's over to you.
Great, thanks a lot, Dennis. So, the next tip area is how to get this working within your case management process. So if we take a look at the first slide, really kind of reinforcing what Dennis indicated at the first stage of onboarding is identifying the key roles. And within the operations, it is the key user role that's most important. We see that person as the operational champion for TSANet. When we see it working the best with members, they tend to define it at the physical location. So it is very helpful to have someone right there that the engineers can go to get assistance with working with partners. So that's the recommendation, if at all possible. They're also kind of involved in this ongoing training, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Looking for better ways to use TSANet, and probably the most important is providing feedback to the business manager. So what's working, what's not working. That includes features, functionality of the member web. So basically making sure that operations has a voice back into both the business manager and then ultimately TSANet to continue to improve how they use the system. So then the second area is integrating into the case management process. And we kind of see three different areas here. So creating a new case, what we find a lot of members doing is making certain that when a new case is created, there's some clarity whether a partner is involved or not. And this could be instructing the engineers to make sure you have very verbose descriptions that includes partner products, or maybe you have a environment section of the case, but making sure you have some place where you're identifying if another partner's products are involved, because that makes it much easier for managers and escalation engineers to kind of identify opportunities for collaboration. And then the other thing, and we see this a lot in members that have maybe moved to the swarming model, right, where they have engineers working kind of closely together, and the different levels of engineers there is really creating awareness right into the front line, so that they don't wait until the case has been active for a week before they start involving the partners. They involve partners very quickly. So if it looks like something that could benefit from a partner being involved, pulling them into the troubleshooting process early is certainly best practice. And then going into the backlog management, and again, I think this is where it's important to pick the right key user. And that key user, a lot of times, we say it's great to have it as maybe it's a team lead or an escalation manager, because it should be somebody that has visibility of the backlog, and again, can kind of see what the different issues are that aren't being resolved, and hey, are any of these cases with our partners that could benefit from TSANet? A lot of times that's where you spot the things and ask the questions, why aren't we working with partner X on this case? And then the third area is escalation management. And again, probably the key here is making sure you're asking the right questions when something's being escalated to the next level. So that gives kind of an area to take a step back and make sure, if you're already doing things, that you have a checklist, like have you collected the logs, have you done this, have you done that? Really kind of asking the detailed question, is there a partner involved in this, and have they been contacted? So again, that helps create the awareness that, hey, we've got the ability to work with partners on this. Have we done that on this case? Okay, and then the last area is this promotion and ongoing training. So if we go to the next slide here, I would say this is probably the most important, and this is really making sure that you don't spend the time and energy on the onboarding and then not continue to refresh that. So we do see, creating awareness and creating paths for feedback. That's where really you get the engineers interested in this, right? So if you have use cases that you're able to kind of identify and message that to the engineers, so they understand, yes, I know when I would use this. That's very helpful. And then also maybe there's whenever you have a collaboration with a partner, maybe there's a follow-up to kind of ask, how did that go? Are there areas that could have been improved? And make sure that funnels back to the business manager if, for example, there could be improvements on either the member web or improvements with the other partner as far as how the collaboration went. And then this ongoing training, I would say this is an area where we've seen the co-branded thing really be helpful, and as Dennis indicated, up in the training area, we have worked with a couple of members to actually create a co-branded video, and that is a maybe 7-minute video, so nothing that's really long, but that tends to be embedded then into the ongoing training, the new onboarding of engineers, so it kind of becomes part of the training assets for the engineers. And then the second one, and obviously this is probably a good segue into the next section, but when you're working with key partners and doing that on a frequent basis, there is an opportunity to have a remote session. I think face-to-face co-branded training sessions with partners, maybe that's a little difficult to pull off nowadays, but doing an online lunch and learn with a key partner where you maybe discuss some problems that you've had with your products interacting. Again, I think that's also where the key user can kind of identify and say, hey, we've had 5 escalations with this partner in the last few weeks. Maybe we should get together with them and discuss those issues and how we could prevent them. So I think that, again, is part of this ongoing promotion and training area. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to pick up. Actually, we're going to even tag team a little bit further in this last section. So this is the third area that we identified, and I will tell you historically that when I see those companies that are really getting the value out of TSANet, a lot of times it's going to fall into this partner management area, and we kind of segue that out into 2 different groups, right? There's the strategic partners, and then there's the technology partners. This really boils down to the use of what we call custom groups. And what I've seen over the last several years now is this is kind of morphed into these 2 areas where you may have a set of strategic partners and you need a high level of collaboration. Maybe it's surrounding a particular set of customers or a particular solution that you want to put, but it needs to be something that is a very high level. And what's important to understand here is a lot of people look at TSANet as, oh, there has to be a mutual customer involved. And that's true for the open groups. But when you get into this area, you're actually not only hosting that relationship and deciding who you're going to collaborate with and pulling those members in, but you're also defining what the elements of that relationship is. Maybe there is no need for you to have a mutual customer. Paul's going to talk about other areas where we get into here, but if I want to go back and look and say these are the companies that are really getting the value out of TSANet, nearly all the time companies are taking advantage of either a strategic partner group, or maybe they've got a partner program out there and they want to establish a mechanism for their partners to be able to collaborate with them. So they've created a technology partner group where they pull the partners in, and we can get into more detail about this on a one-on-one with you, but we can create landing pages. We've got microsites where we can go in and you can share documents. You can do all sorts of different things. And we think we've kind of come up with a solution that that if you've got a need for a relationship with another member out there, we've got a way for us to host it as under a vendor-neutral platform for you to be able to take advantage of that. Okay, and Paul, you want to go into the channel?
Great, yeah. So one of the areas that we've expanded on in the last couple of years is now within scope of TSANet, you can pull in your channel support partners. So channel support partners can join the open group just like vendors can, or as Dennis indicated, for your technology partners, for your channel support partners, you can create a very similar custom group, microsite, collaborate, share documents, all those types of things with your channel partner ecosystem. So again, this enhances TSANet even more, where then you can go to your engineers and say, hey, this is a single place that you go to collaborate with all of your partners. So whether it's a technology partner or a channel support partner, you can collaborate with them the same way. So I think this gives you to extend the usage even more of TSANet and leverage a very kind of consistent way of doing that. And then the last area, and this is an area that's new for this year, and this is the solution support. And what we found is now in the industry, there's kind of the momentum around creating repeatable solutions, selling them to the marketplace. Partners are installing those, doing the integration, and in some cases also doing the support. And now you can use TSANet to put those solution support frameworks together. And this could be, you have a solution that contains 3 different technology vendors, and a certain subset of your channel support partners are capable of selling, integrating, and supporting those. So you can create an ecosystem around a particular solution. So we see this as really kind of the way forward with a lot of companies where customers are really looking for a one-stop shop for a particular business problem that they have. So this is a way for you to use TSANet for those requirements as well.
There we go. I better get off mute if I'm going to say something, right? So we've got a little bit of time left. We covered quite a bit of territory there, but hopefully you found that useful. I mean, we think we've identified some of the key areas for you to increase your usage and get the value out of TSANet. If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and ask those now, and let me see if I can expand that area. And if we don't, well, looks like we can give you about another few minutes. So let me go just a minute, see if anybody's got any questions, and if not, we'll give you 5 minutes back of your half hour.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the things we can stress as well, Dennis, that where we've seen a lot of success in people improving their usage is working closely with us. So reach out to either myself or Dennis. A lot of these things should give you some ideas, but then actually accomplishing them, feel free to pull us in. We can help you every step of the way in each of these areas.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just what you pay your membership for, is for support from us, and let us help you, because we can certainly in a position to do the like Paul had mentioned, some of the co-branding and all that kind of stuff. That's we can certainly help you with it. I don't think we got any questions, Paul, so it looks like we're gonna end it maybe just a few minutes early.
Great, thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks everybody.